we are talking about a game that is gaining a lot of popularity in the country, and it's interesting to see how young ones are quickly, grabbing out the same, so that we can get to understand how they ended up into the game, and of course look forward into what's coming up, as we also look at the rear view mirror in terms of what has been making them tick in the different sporting activities that they've been taking part in, right from January, where they had the Baseball Africa, where they hosted the Baseball Africa inaugural, Martin Luther King, Jackie Robinson tournament. How did that pan out? We're talking about matters baseball. And we are joined on set by a team from the baseball community, and of course right from the Baseball Federation of Kenya and to the playing unit. We have national team players in the different age categories, from under 12 to the under 18 and under 15s in studio. Then we also have the acting president with us, and assistant technical director. Let's take the moment to introduce the guests with us in studio this afternoon. I'll start with my farthest right, and of course the young under 12 baseball player. That's Mark Mwangi with us in studio. Mark looked a bit nervous earlier on, but as we were talking, he started getting his confidence and smiling bit. Mark, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Karibu sana.
Yes.
Then next to Mark, we have Christian Brian. Christian, also baseball player and a member of the national under 18s team with us in studio, will be letting us know how they ended up in baseball and what can we expect from them. Christian, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Karibu sana. Next to me, I cross over to my left, and we have with us a young girl in studio. Remember, they say that what a man can do, a woman can do as twice, as better. And Rehema is representing the girl child with us in studio, a member of the national under 15s national team. Rehema Wanjiko with us. Rehema, good afternoon. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Next to Rehema, we have a man who wears so many hats. He has so much that he is juggling. We'll find out how he manages to juggle all this. Assistant Technical Director, Baseball Federation Kenya, Director, Baseball for Africa, founder Kabete Cares Baseball Academy, and also the team manager, Samurai United Baseball Club. A man who also needs no introduction from a baseball point, Mr. George Kinuthia with us in studio. George, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Karibu sana as well. Last but not least, the man behind baseball, always ready to talk matters baseball. Very calm, but take him to the, to talk about baseball. You'll be amazed and surprised at the level of intelligence and the technical skills that he has from a baseball point of view. We are talking about the acting president, Baseball Federation Kenya, then of course the technical director, Baseball Federation Kenya, with us in studio, Dedan Karaoke himself. Dedan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Anthony.
Nice to see you after a long time.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Always a pleasure.
Right.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
And in fact, I'll start with you, as the acting president of Baseball Federation, and of course, also the technical director, Baseball Federation Kenya. How is the baseball, scene in Kenya at the moment? Have we improved since the last time that we were here with you in studio?
Definitely, we have put a lot of efforts towards spreading the game of baseball to the schools and also to the clubs. We have seen a lot of improvement, but the way of measuring it is through the understanding of the game and the skills that they have acquired. It's really fantastic to see young people like the ones that you have here in the studio also playing. But the most successful area that we would always be proud of is that we have managed to recruit baseball for ladies. It's really coming up. It's one area that we know for sure that we'll be able to excel, because I believe in Africa we could be maybe the first ones to have spearheaded this program.
Very interesting. Now that you've mentioned about the ladies and, coming up, it's also worth taking note, Mr. Kinuthia, as the Assistant Technical Director, that we are seeing a lot of emphasis, which is a very good thing, from the age category, which means you want to grow these young ones gradually, into the different age groups. We have Mark with us in studio, under 12. We have Rehema, under 15. We have Christian Bryan, under 18. What informed the whole idea about investing in the youth as you grow the sport?
Okay, over time, what we used to do is go to the colleges and universities and select the national team for people who get into contact with baseball when they're already adults. And then we realized that we will never make it because these people, most of the players in the national teams were people whose future was already focused on professional lines in other areas, or even their studies. So we decided to go back to the, we may call it, to the roots of sports, which is starting the sport at an early age, giving opportunities to the players who are young, and teaching them and making, because essentially there are some skills you cannot teach an adult. Just like in other sports, even in football, you can't tell a child to go and play 1v1 basic. I mean, a grown-up to start with 1v1 or something like that. So we decided like the best way, and even athletics has paved the way for us. They start very early in Kenya, and you can see the success. So we realized for Kenya to have any impact in terms of baseball, we have to start from down there. And also for older ladies to start a sport, it is normally very hard. But when start as young girls and young boys, it's very easy, and sometimes they even play mixed gender, and they grow together, and the skill levels continue to grow.
Interesting in terms of how you've brought it up in terms of focusing on the youth. And as we do that, allow me to also introduce the young ones through the different age categories. And I'll start with Mark Mwangi, under 12. Mark, just to ask, how did you end up in baseball?
Okay, I saw the game. I was invited by my friend. He told me that he was playing the game and it was interesting. So I wanted to try it. Yes.
And when you tried it, you've never looked back. You enjoyed it?
Yes, it was fun.
Fun it is, and when you look at the young ones talk about this particular sport, you really just feel like you can rewind time so that you can start at their age. But unfortunately, it's just like smoke. Age is like smoke. Once gone, it's gone. Let's come to Rehema. Rehema, as a girl child, George has mentioned, the girl child coming into the sport, and you're one of the few that are coming up. How does it make you feel that you are one of the few who are trying to come up into this game and show it to the world that the girl child can also participate and play baseball in Kenya?
Baseball is very exciting, fun, and if you play it well, you can gain courage like I did. You believe that you can do it, but don't have pride. Pride it's a negative way to play baseball.
Wow, that's a good one. Put pride aside, otherwise you'd be walking in town like you're the one, everything, only to lose it at the end of the day, because pride now comes. And remember, they say pride comes before a fall. Very good, words of wisdom there from Rehema. Christian, under 18, national team player. How does this make you feel? Mark told me earlier on one thing that attracted him into the game was traveling. Did it also inspire you to get into the game?
No, it's not traveling. Game inspired me because I stopped, you see, the youths are getting much confused on the way. But you see, when I got into baseball, I started focusing, and I'm all aligned. Just thereby, I can't lose my focus.
Excellent, excellent. And not losing focus is brilliant and the key thing. Let me come to Mr. Karaoke. Mr. Karaoke, there is a new aspect of baseball that's coming up. This is Baseball 5. What is Baseball 5? Because it looks like it's the next big thing.
Baseball 5 is a game that's been introduced in many countries, and the idea behind it was to help those people who might not be able to afford buying this set of equipment because they cost a lot of money. What you need to understand is that in the whole entire Africa, we do not manufacture any of the items that you see here. So what has happened is that now the baseball 5 is a game that originated from Cuba, adopted by the World Baseball Softball Confederation, and is now being spread all over, and they have even initiated the so-called World Championship. So essentially is a game that is played using just a simple ball like a tennis ball. And that is the only equipment that is required. And it can be played at any place, wherever there is space, big or small. And it is now actually getting into the curricula of our Kenyan education, right from the primary, and I believe it will go up to the secondary level.
And you know, as we do that, if you know, the camera team can just get some of this equipment. You've mentioned equipment. I can see there is a helmet, and in the helmets there are two different types and sets of helmet. There is the black one, which is you know, the Adidas make. Yes, sure. There is the black one. Then of course there is the other one. Correct. So when we talk about both sets, yes, maybe yes, exactly. So why do we need both, or does each have a function?
Each one has a function. This one is worn by the players when they are in the game. The referee is very much concerned about who is not wearing, because he cannot allow any player to get into the pitch without having worn a helmet. These are protective gear in the sense that it helps somebody not get injured, particularly when you're running. You know, there are a lot of activities that happen in a game situation. When you're running from one base to the other one, you are likely to be hit by a ball thrown to the person who is on the base. Mm-hmm. It could be first base, second base, and all that. So essentially it is important, and there is no game that can be played without a helmet.
And also for clarity, if I may interject,
please.
This is normally used, you asked the purpose of the two types.
Yes.
This type is for batters or the hitters.
Mm-hmm.
The person who is running, hitting the ball and running the bases, and maybe he can continue because...
No, this one, we have a person who is called a catcher. A catcher plays behind the batter. And the ball, like the one that you have here, is a hard ball.
Very hard indeed.
And is thrown at a speed close to 120 miles per hour. You can imagine what that means if this person, whoever is going to catch the ball, was unprotected.
Wow.
It would be dangerous. The person will get hurt.
It's very heavy indeed.
Therefore, the game dictates that you have to wear a protective gear. Okay. And one of these one is the face mask that you have to wear. You see, it helps you either way. You can see it has a bit of space for breathing. And of course, the area here helps you to protect your face.
Correct.
That is one of it. There are others that you have to wear when you are playing that position as a catcher. We have also chest protector, which is up there. And this is the piece that you wear around your chest. This one. Mm-hmm. You wear around your, so that the ball does not get to hit you right on your chest.
In short, you know, because I was about to ask how safe is the sport, because when I feel the weight of the bat, it's pretty heavy. And when I also look at the ball and the weight of the ball, they are heavy. Yeah, how safe is the sport, assuming, you know, the pitcher, you know, hits it so well, George?
Like I mentioned at the beginning, baseball is a game of safety. And Rehema talked about focus. So it is a game that teaches you to be extremely, if there's something like that, focused when you're playing. because it's about hand and eye coordination, because you never use one without the other working together. So, and also the players get protected, because like the batter gets the helmet, the hitter gets the helmet, and the catcher is the most protected person because he takes the pitches, and the pitches are very fast. You know, the throws are very fast. So he's the person most likely to be injured or get hurt by the ball. But the others, I think it's about concentration and being taught the basics about taking care of yourself, and also being able to hit the baseball. Especially at the higher level of 110, 120 miles, you have to be very good at reaction. Your coordination should be excellent at that level, because we said at the lower level they use different types of balls and they are rubber, so they cannot cause much injury. But for these ones, when you're playing at the higher level, your coordination is almost perfect, and you can watch the ball and the path that it takes when it is pitched, and you are able to determine. Because baseball, like I said, you need a lot of concentration, because even the ball must follow a certain path, even at that speed. And at a distance of 60 feet, you have to determine whether it is a strike zone. There's something we call the strike zone, because that's the correct ball. But outside that zone, the ball is called a ball, and it's like not acceptable. So you have to, at that speed, you have to watch the ball from the pitcher's hand and determine whether it is a proper ball, is a strike ball, and you hit, and if it's bad, you duck. You either move away if it is coming close to you, or leave it if it is outside that area called, there's something we call the home plate. So the home plate is something modeled like this. It's normally like sharp here, so it is put there, and if I may.
Yeah, sure.
So what we normally do is, like, you are the hitter, and you come and measure the distance for you to determine whether the ball is strike. The strike zone is like a square between here and here, around this plate. So they normally draw, if you watch like professional baseball on TV, they normally put, when somebody pitches the ball, they normally put a square to indicate whether the umpire is correct or not.
Or not, yes.
The ball must go through there. So when you come and you are the batter, you come and measure here the distance. So that now you can take your position, and you have to determine that the ball is passing here within the strike zone, and if it's too close, you move away, and if it's away or even higher than the zone, then you leave it. That's how you determine.
Wow.
So because over time you acquire that skill of determining even the speed. You can even estimate the speed of the ball, and also there are also variation. Like Mark, who is the pitcher, he would use different variation of throwing. So there are different types we call like fast balls, which are like 110 miles. There are others we call sliders. There are others we call curve balls. And there are also slow balls which come, and breaking balls.
Okay, interesting, very interesting indeed. And one thing that I picked as you're talking about, catcher, the pitcher, I realized Rehema was smiling, looking at, looking at Mark. Rehema, which one do you prefer, being a pitcher or a catcher?
A catcher.
Why?
Pitching is complicated.
What makes it complicated?
Because there is a standing position you should be in, and the way you should hold the ball.
Critical. Mark, your favorite?
Pitching.
Pitching.
Yes.
You like throwing that ball?
Yes.
At what speed? And how do you train so that you perfect the art of getting to throw it better?
How do I train? I train like.
Feel free.
Okay, I train how I grip the balls. I grip it in different ways, like my coach have mentioned. I grip it in different ways.
Maybe Christian can give you the ball, and how do you hold it?
Yes, like this. Like this.
Really? So you can even hold the ball like that and still be able to, let it go? So do you throw it direct, or you throw it at an angle?
just like that.
Just like the game of cricket?
This one does not bounce.
Oh, there's
This
no
is like
bounce.
straight to the target.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Mark is proving to be a good one
Yeah,
at that early age.
we just played in Western Kenya last weekend.
Yes.
Last weekend, but one. And he was the pitcher. He was the youngest player on the field because we played under 16, and some were slightly bigger because the rating was. You know, sometimes we allow for even older players because it's a promotional tournament. So he happened to be the best, the youngest player, even the pitcher on the field, and he made a very good account of himself. The game he pitched, we won. So
good.
He's a very promising pitcher. And then he also pitched for the under 12 team, national team, as a sub pitcher when he was 8 years old. So he started playing. He joined the national team when he was at a very tender age, at 8, and he played the African qualifiers in 2023.
Very young indeed. With us in studio, Mark Mwangi, under 12, Rehema Wanjiku, under 15, and also Christian Bryan, under 18. We'll find out from the young ones, how does it feel like to play for the national team, and how do they balance their studies and also playing the game of baseball? But that's after this short commercial break. Welcome back. Before we went for the break, we were just discussing matters baseball, and with us in studio we have Mark, Christian, Rehema, George, and of course Mr. Karaoke, the acting president Baseball Federation Kenya. George, no, before I come to George, Mr. Karaoke, as the acting, president Baseball Federation of Kenya, next year is big. For the youth across the world because of the Youth Olympics that will be happening in Senegal. Is Kenya planning to be part of it? And as a build-up of the same, is the Koshien baseball preliminary games coming up? And if yes, are we ready for the 4 zones?
Well, when we're talking about the Dakar Games for youth, which will be held in Dakar next year, Kenya will feature baseball 5 because most of the African countries do not have what we call baseball park or ballparks. And therefore, baseball 5 will be part of the games that will be played there. And therefore, Kenya, we are now starting our training for the youth all through until that time, so that at least come 2026 we'll have our team. And preparation of a team must have a lot of other schools. We target on, we actually our catchment area is within the schools. So what we're going to do is that we have the plan, we have our strategic plan for the coming event, and therefore we'll go through all the schools, do the preliminary games, and towards the end of whatever, when the games will be nearing, of course, that is time now we'll select our national team. And this national team will be combined of boys and girls, because baseball 5 is a game where at least out of the 5 players, 2 of them must be girls. Wow. So we have all those preparation in the pipeline, and we know towards that time we'll have the team. Now, come Koshien. Koshien is a tournament that is a program that was introduced, and the idea was borrowed from Japan. Japan, they have secondary school games where thousands and thousands of players are involved. And therefore, we decided one of the president of the Koshien, his name is Tomonari, he came to Kenya and we signed a kind of MOU that will also adopt the same system like they have back in Japan. So the name Koshien means secondary school. Therefore, we have introduced this game of baseball within the 4 zones in Kenya. When we talk of a Western zone, there are several counties that are involved. Likewise in the coastal, and so with the Eastern. So metropolitan, of course, is comprised of the
Nairobi,
yes, Kiambu, the ones bordering
yes.
the, so, and Kajiado also.
Yes.
So what we are doing is that we have already done the preliminary games. Like we have finished with the Western, and we know Western has the biggest number of entries. There are so many schools within the Western. And I don't know, because sometimes they say that we take just a few, and if the criteria for choosing were to choose from who has the most teams, then of course
Western
that will go to the Western.
And as we look into that, there is so much that's coming up, because you've mentioned that after that you'll be having the women baseball tournament in September, and this year it's been separated from the boys. Is this a way to also, grow the girl child in terms of baseball?
Oh, of course, that is a way of actually encouraging girls to get involved, because there will always be competition for them. And like I'm saying, Kenya is very strong when it comes to women baseball.
She's here.
Yeah, there they are. And this did not even start yesterday. We've been ongoing, it's been ongoing for a long time. Like we started a couple of years back, but that was for the clubs. Now we have gone to the schools, and the championship will take place on 12th for the girls here in Juja, JKUAT baseball field. So thereafter, we'll have the boys play their finals late in the year around October. So that is how we have split the two, because actually going through all these programs within the school is very expensive, and therefore Kenya is also involved, and Japan also help us in one way or the other in promotion of the game. So there is fundraising activities, sometimes which deter how far you can go. And this time we have experienced a bit of problem. We have decided to split the two so that come October we'll have the boys play their finals.
And as the boys play their finals in October, we also have the Baseball Africa, that can be hosted at the Martin Luther King Jackie Robinson, tournament, Mr. Karaoke. Talk to us more about it as we start, winding up the discussion.
Okay, thank you. And if I may add about the girls' baseball, previously there was no professional baseball for women. It's a new phenomenon, just like Baseball 5. And we wanted to make sure that Kenya takes its position as pioneers in women baseball. Just to cap on what Mr. Karaoke said, Baseball for Africa is like I said, is the oldest and the biggest open championship in Kenya, doing its 22nd edition this year. Started with us and Jim Tamarak from Atlanta, who came to teach baseball. And we'll be having it on 19th and 20th of July at JKUAT, if we build it, ballpark. And this year's theme is we help fight femicide, because we have realized we are losing a lot of girls, and girls are also needed in our sports, and also they need equal chances like our boys. So that's very important, and we are going to continue talking about it's a family-friendly event, and we are sanctioned by the Federation, so all roads should lead to JKUAT on 19th and 20th of July.
19th, 20th of July, all roads lead to JKUAT. Let's find out from Rehema. Rehema, you are representing the girl child. For that girl out there looking at you now, what would your advice be to her?
I'll advise her that being a girl is not, it's not like si vijana tu wanaweza kufanya kila kitu. In games, mostly baseball, girls ndo wanakuanga na hiyo, wanafaa kuangalia hiyo ball sana. Kwanza ikipichiwa, you have to focus first. When you focus, you have to have full discipline. Yeah.
Focus, discipline. Mark, where do you see yourself in the game of baseball in the next years to come? Are you looking at representing the country in a more senior level? Because already now you're an under 12, in the national team.
Yes, I see myself playing in the MLB, the future to come.
Wow, MLB, future to come.
Yes.
Lupita Nyong'o says your dreams are valid. Go for it. Brian, your parting shot, your advice to the young out there looking at you now, saying when they grow up they would like to be like you in baseball?
I can tell them that this game, even if they see the difficulty in it, sometimes things have to be difficult so that they can be good. Difficulty is the key sometimes to success.
Wow, difficulty can be the key to success, just like in the Bible. The pain that you go through now cannot be compared to the joy that is right in the future. George, before I go to Mr. Kariuki, your parting shot. Kariuki will have, Didan will have the last word, but from you, your parting shot?
Okay, I would like to talk from the national perspective, because we have seen playing fields in Kenya are a big challenge, and we are requesting the community schools and colleges managers to open up the fields, not only for baseball. They should open even for football. We are talking about the Gen Zs, and the only way to win them and get them close to us is to open those facilities and take the energy to sports, because expositive energy versus, I'm not saying there's anything negative, but there's a lot of energy. Young people should be embraced, not thrown away, because I go to every community, including my community. We have no access to sports facilities, and there's a school in the neighborhood, even 5. So they should do that and open all the fields in Kenya, and also make sure, taking cognizance of that. These are our children. Some of them may have left the school, but they attended the same school, and we need them in the communities.
Mr. Kariuki, you have the final word?
Yeah, I want to tell the Kenyans that we'll have this Goshen tournament on 12. At the same time, we'll also have Mombasa. Mombasa will also host the Goshen training, and it will involve about 30 of them coaches drawn from the schools, and that actually will be the climax. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kariuki. And I know these are not found locally. How difficult is it to get them in 30 seconds?
Well, we are trying to see if we can have our carpenters here in Kenya do the wooden one, because it's easier to get the wooden one done.
Correct.
But this one, which involves a lot of technology, because it's made of aluminium.
Thank you very much, and wishing you all the best. Thank you very much, Mr. Dedan Kariuki, Acting President, Baseball Federation of Kenya, Technical Director, Baseball Federation. We also had Mr. George Kinuthia with us, Assistant Technical Director. We had Rehema Wanjiku, Christian Bryan, and of course the young Mark Mwangi with us in studio. Wishing you all the best as you continue growing the sport of baseball in the country.